There was a time when I had everything: security, respect, a future mapped out. Things most people spend their entire lives chasing. And yet, I let it all slip through my fingers for her. Because when you love someone the way I loved her, nothing else matters. Not until it does. Not until you wake up one day and realize you've lost everything. And the only thing left is the love that made you lose it all in the first place. It all started with the first choice that changed everything. She walked into my life like a storm, unpredictable, impossible to ignore. I had always been steady, practical, the kind of man who played it safe, who followed the rules and made sure everything was in place. She was the opposite, wild, reckless, unafraid to challenge the world. Maybe that's why I fell so hard for her. For the first time, I wasn't in control. She made me feel alive. And when she asked me to choose her over everything else, over my stability, over expectations, over everything I had worked so hard for, I did, without hesitation. But love doesn't shield you from the consequences of your actions. In the beginning, it felt worth it. The way she looked at me, the way she made me believe that we were unstoppable together. But life doesn't care about love. And the moment people saw what I was willing to give up for her, everything changed. I lost my job. Connections that once meant everything were severed. Doors that had once been wide open were slammed shut. I lost my family too. Their disappointment was heavier than their silence. It wasn't just about losing my job or my status. It was losing the people I thought would always be there for me. They couldn't understand why I would give everything up for a woman who seemed so different from me. It didn't make sense to them, and the worst part was, it didn't make sense to me either. Not anymore. I lost my home, because love doesn't pay the bills, passion doesn't put food on the table. I still held on to her though. I told myself that if I still had her, none of that mattered. What were jobs, status, and respect if I had the one thing that made everything else seem irrelevant? But then came the day I never saw coming. The day that broke me. I turned to her, expecting that maybe we could work things out, that somehow we could face the struggles together, and that's when I saw it. She wasn't suffering the way I was. She wasn't hurting from what we had lost because, in reality, she had never had anything to lose in the first place. I was the one who had gambled everything. She had nothing to lose. No family, no future that she had carefully built up. I had sacrificed everything for her, and in the end, I was left standing alone in the wreckage of a life I had destroyed for someone who was never fully committed to it. That was the hardest part. Even knowing the damage she had left behind, I still loved her, even when I shouldn't have, even when she walked away without a second thought. She didn't look back. Not when I called her name. Not when I stood, there frozen, watching her walk away from the ruins of the life I had destroyed for her. Maybe that was what hurt the most. Not the job I had sacrificed. Not the family who had turned their backs on me. Not even the future I had built and lost. It was the fact that in the end she didn't lose anything. I was the only one who paid the price. For days I told myself she'd come back, that one day she'd realize what we had was worth fighting for. Maybe she was just scared. Maybe she was as lost as I was. But the truth was, she was never lost. She knew exactly where she was going. And it wasn't with me. The world I once knew no longer belonged to me. I tried to go back, to rebuild. But the doors I had once walked through so easily were now locked. The people who had once respected me wouldn't even look me in the eye. They whispered when they saw me. They shook their heads and avoided me, like I was some kind of failure. I was the man who had thrown away everything for a woman who had never planned on staying. No one would let me forget it. The choice I made, it was something I couldn't take back. If I had the chance to do it all over again, would I? Would I walk away from the life I had built, knowing it would lead me here? Would I still take her hand, still follow her into the unknown, still believe that she was worth everything I had lost? The answer should be no. But deep down, I know the truth. Even now, even after everything, if she stood in front of me and asked me to choose her, again, I wouldn't hesitate. Because I didn't just lose everything for her. I gave it up willingly. And that's the kind of love that never really fades, no matter how much it destroys you. The days blend together now. One long stretch of nothingness. No purpose. No direction. Just an endless loop of regret and memories I can't shake. I walk through familiar streets, passing places that used to mean something. The coffee shop where we spent lazy mornings. The park where she once promised me forever. The apartment we shared, now occupied by someone else. As if we never existed. Everything keeps moving forward. Everything except me. The weight of what I gave up is always with me. I tell myself it's time to stop looking back, to stop searching for her face in every passing crowd, to stop replaying conversations in my mind, searching for the moment when I should have known better. But love doesn't come with a warning. It doesn't tell you when to stop, when to let go, when to walk away before you lose too much. And by the time you realize what you've lost, it's already gone. Did she ever really love me? That question lingers, eating away at me. Did she mean the words she once whispered? Or was I always just another step in her journey, another temporary moment in a life that was never meant to include me? I don't know. Maybe I never will. Because she's out there somewhere, living, laughing, loving someone else, while I'm stuck here, haunted by a love that only ever took from me. The truth I can't ignore is this. People tell me to move on. They say I'll find someone new, that time heals everything. But they don't understand. I didn't just love her. I built my world around her, and when she left, she didn't just take herself, she took me with her.